Hello everybody and welcome to another knockoff review. In today's video I'm taking a look at the first product, to my knowledge, from the Art of Duplicates line. This is the Deformation Glider. Basically it's a knockoff of this guy, the very good DX9 masterpiece style Powerglide. And absolutely love that figure. And there's two versions of that release. Apparently there's version 1 and then the version 2 release that they released to meet the demand of the public, and apparently the tail fins don't fit together very well on version 2. Now the question has been asked in my Ben's Collectibles KO group, link in the description below, which version is this. I'm going to get everything out, take a close look, inspect them both, compare them, and we will then see which is the superior figure and which version this is based off. Quick look around the box. They've kind of gone for a very similar style to what DX9 go for, albeit they've kind of updated this. This is definitely more modern, whereas the DX9 is based on kind of the World War style imagery. And on the back there we've got is it Ariel, his girlfriend there. We've got the alien mask and we've got the glider car shape. Bottom of the box we've got the warnings, and the side of the box we've got Powerglide in here, the vehicle mode. Powerglide comes packaged in a plastic clamshell with all of the same accessories, albeit there is no longer a DX9 stamp on his base, and we get a big set of instructions with no collector's card. Taking a look at the accessories first, we get this 3-piece flight stand, very solid and fits together extremely tightly as well. We get our girlfriend, the detailing on the figure and generally all of the accessories as well. The details are slightly lost. I think that's partly due to the fact that they've copied the mold. I don't know if you can just see on the face there, they're just not quite as pronounced on the bootleg, and the paint applications are a little bit smudged in comparison, but yet the hair is darker, so it's a kind of tit for tat, so to speak. Each has their pros and cons. Right, for the purpose of this video, I do just have an Autobot insignia on the DX9 version, just so they're easy to distinguish between them. As I previously mentioned, the detailing just isn't quite as crisp, which I think is kind of often the case when you've reverse engineered something. Now the colour is slightly darker on the KO as well, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I actually think that colour works. Let's just bring in some light there so you can just see the colour is slightly darker on the KO, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I actually really like the slightly darker tint. The arms are a very, very similar colour. There's a couple of extra sprue marks on the knockoff, and if you look, there's a paint smudge on that arm there. It almost looks like a fingerprint. I think looking at them side on, it's kind of easier to see the depth of the detail lines kind of run slightly deeper on the DX9 version. And another glaring difference, which does help us when trying to identify a DX9 or a bootleg, is the colour of the pins used. We have silver pin used for the DX9, and we have that black pin used for the Art of Duplicates. Now, if this is your first time looking at this mold. Where have you been? The head does rotate. We can go up and we can go down. Shoulders on friction joints, upwards, outwards. The shoulder pads themselves can move. Upper bicep rotation, double jointed bend on the elbow, rotation on the wrist. The fingers are pinned. Trigger finger is separate. Waist rotation, albeit very, very tight. Hip skirts to the front, rear and side allow for motion this far forwards, this far backwards, out to the side. There's an upper thigh rotation there. There is a bend on the knee as well as a lower knee rotation, and the feet can go up and down, and we can tilt side to side, and we do have the heel spur which can lift up and down. And the weapon doesn't use the standard Masterpiece style pegging system, it just slides into his hands. I think the thing that's bugging me the most about this figure is those eyes. On the original from DX9 we've got some really bright blue, kind of baby blue style eye, and the lines just underneath those eyes are really quite prominent, really highlighted by that kind of pearlescent paint scheme, whereas with the bootleg they've gone for the white, and that detailing is kind of lost, I think. Opening chest function for the girl who loved Powerglide, and we have a paint scratch on the inside of that chest piece. Here he is alongside Masterpiece Red Alert, just for a quick scale comparison. For a full scale comparison, hit that information button up there. It takes you through to the original review. Now I must say, props go to the DX9 here. He's a very good interpretation of Powerglide. Can't see many companies beating this. I know we'll probably get the likes of Fans Toys release a version and everybody will then say, oh, it's Fans Toys, it's going to be amazing. But this is really quite good, and I still think I'm going to have to replace these with the Bad Cube versions. Bad Cube have taken a gamble when they released theirs, but to be honest with you, I think it paid off. They do look exceptionally good. Now let's get him transformed up and see which version he is. Well, the best part of the transformation is exactly the same. Just need to get a nail or a tool just around that faceplate, rotate that around, so we're left with this. Pull this chest piece out and rotate. Now this is incredibly stiff on this figure. I can't seem to pull it out a great deal, so the clearance is incredibly minimal, where on the DX9 one the clearance is absolutely spot on, and there's definitely a lot smoother. But yep, that's out. Just push that back in. The DX9 one, look at the size of that gap. That's fantastic. Just slides all the way out and is nice and easy to rotate. But can I get this version to do that? Nope, not a chance. You need to compress the head downwards. The arms, much like you would expect, allow for the fists to be compressed on the underside and hidden. So again, with this hand, make sure the fists are compressed, bring that up, flip that under, and push that back down. Now the legs, these sections untab from the back, like so. These here are going to form part of the tail fins, so just untab them from the base of the foot. They literally just lock over. The thrusters come all the way around to the front. You can then move these tab pieces back inside, and the thrusters are then going to close up. The feet straighten out like so and compress, so straighten out. These tabs unfold from the back of the jet, allowing this back kibble section to come down. Make sure this piece comes all the way down. These legs are going to rotate at the knees and rotate at the thighs, bringing them nice and close together. So again, on this side, we can rotate at the thigh and rotate at the knee. And as we bring these pieces in, this is going to come all the way down to the underside, and we can bring these close and close together, and this is just going to slide upwards. That should, he says, push and lock in lovely. Come to the end of the tail, there's a tab that we just flick downwards like so, and that should then, he says, push and tab in together. These can then come up and up to the sides. We can then rotate these up and around like so. This is all starting to come together. The wings can come down, rotate around, and they're going to tab in to the side like so. So we want to move this hook piece up and over to the top, and then with this piece down, this rotates around, folds back on itself, and then tabs in to the underside of that wing. Now, something I wasn't expecting with this transformation is the pin to this section to come out. I've got the pin here with me still. So let's just thread that back through. I don't think the pin has been kind of pincered, whatever it is at the other end. So yes, let's just do the alternative wing. And here we have them both transformed up into their vehicle mode. Now, I believe, judging by the fact that this tail fin actually holds together, there is a small gap in the middle there, but I'm assuming that this is the version 1 mold. Again, just underneath there does a slight gap, but this whole section here does peg in quite nicely, and that gap is no bigger really than my original mold. Looking at the cockpit, it's been painted up black, which is kind of more in keeping with the G1 toy as opposed to the translucent plastic that was used with the original. It's a good likeness. The red that they've used is actually probably more prominent in the vehicle mode. It actually does remind me a lot more of the G1 toy, but that being said, it's definitely not without its flaws. As you saw earlier on, the pins fall out, there's some scuffs, things aren't quite as tidy as I would like. Now, people are saying that this KO company is actually DX9 under a different name. That strikes me as very odd, and I disagree. If it was the same company just releasing these under a different name, surely the molds would be exactly the same. The line depth is slightly different without that kind of fine detailing, which is common for a mold that has been reverse engineered. I don't know where that idea has surfaced. Now, to get this to attach to the stand, I want to just bring down that rear landing gear section like so, and then we can just slide that in, and then we can have Powerglide kind of taking off. For those of you after the front wheel carriage, as you can see, we open up the section with the heart, and we can just bring that front wheel down and then close that section off. And let's not forget these little outer wheels as well, which helps him balance. And whilst we're in jet mode, this hole that we've done from rotating that head, we can use it for the weapon. The weapon can just slot in like so, or it can also be used when he's in robot mode. That's how we plug that alien mask in. It's affordable. It's a very good bootleg. Personally, I still think that the DX9 version is better. Just the joints are smoother and transition is slightly easier. But that being said, this is a great alternative, and for me, I'm going to have this displayed in vehicle mode. I'm going to have Powerglide in vehicle mode and in bot mode. I know people like, I think it's Colin Hobbs, has a complete collection of vehicle modes and robot modes. There's a few of you out there, so this could definitely be a very good, viable, affordable option. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Deformation Glider, aka AOD-01, the art of duplicates. Now, as I mentioned, this is, in my opinion, not quite as good as the DX9 version, but it is very, very close indeed. Everything holds together as it should. In fact, the joints are probably too tight. That's what's kind of separating it from the original. Thanks again to TF Direct for making this review possible. There is yet another version of this as well. Another company has KO'd the DX9 product, so I'm hoping to get my hands on that so we can compare them all together. I will include a link to this product in the description below. Once again, don't forget to hit that information bar at the top there to watch the full DX9 review. And until next time, from myself and Powerglide, thanks for watching. Goodbye.